Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Rise with Reis. We're here for our Sunday show to share with you tools, tips, and some insider things that Reis and I have done in order to really connect to our true selves and really be able to magnetize that love and that relationship to us. And so we want to share that with all of you. I'd like to start by thanking everyone that participated in the 5-day challenge, either live or on the replays. And also know that we've packaged it up so it's not too late. You can still get plugged into that 5-part video series, and you can check out the link above or below in order to get connected with that. But for now, I'm going to start with a question, and then I'm going to let Reis come in and kind of answer the question with some tips for you. So, as a twin flame, have you been struggling with that sense of a desire that you want lasting love, but instead you've been feeling stuck, not being seen, not being heard, not being acknowledged, and having to work too freaking hard for what it is you want, especially to continue to be ghosted? So, Reis, how can we help people move beyond this and stop doing so much effing work?
Oh my gosh, Dr. Harmony, this kind of sums up everything that we did last week, wasn't it, with the 5-day challenge? As Dr. Harmony said, if you haven't already, just get in that content. This is taking the work out for you. It's helping you. I mean, what we're saying, we do so much work and we're trying to get things done, but it's not working. We're going in the wrong direction. We're feeling stuck and we're feeling isolated. And it's time now that we get unstuck and we really start taking action for ourselves. Now, the 5-day challenge is incredible because it's all about getting unstuck. It's about removing those blocks, going within and really connecting and finding that inner peace and that inner harmony. And this is what we ultimately want, isn't it? We want to attain that inner peace, that inner harmony in order to align with our highest match and our twin flame. And for everybody that is struggling, that is feeling stuck, that they can't get the motivation, I'm saying the help is out there. The communication is there. Plug into your mentors, plug into your guides, plug into the information that we can offer you. It is huge, reaching out. It's about learning to go from that transition, learning the acceptance in ourselves. It's finding that inner harmony, learning to receive love and actually standing up and saying, yes, I'm fully worth it. How many of us can actually say that? How many can stand in the true light of their own soul and say, I'm fully worth the love that I should be receiving in my life? And this is what we're saying to you. You really are. And it's time now to let go of all of that work that we're doing and to really uncover your authentic self. Now, we have got loads of tips and strategies within that 5-day challenge. I mean, there's so much content about looking at ourselves and recognizing what our true desires are. I mean, how many of us ask ourselves that? As we talked about before previously, we talk about all the negative areas in our life or what we don't want, and we really don't feel that there's any room for budging. Well, we're here to tell you there is. There's room for change. There's room to challenge these aspects of yourself, which you probably haven't done before, because we're looking for external validation. We're looking for external resources in order to create that change. And the answer is within you. It's always been within you. And I couldn't be more excited to be on this journey with you, assisting you, loving you, and helping you grow.
Beautiful. I'm so excited that we got some really good feedback from the challenge and people that were in the challenge. But also, in addition to that, today we have launched our Ignite Your Inner Flame program. And that program is where you can work for 3 months with Reis and I, and Reis as in-person sessions and private sessions, and myself in group sessions and coaching sessions and healing sessions. And we have some online courses that go with that. That being said, it is super good deal right now because we have 5 beta spots that are open that you can get plugged into for some discounts and some bonuses that are beyond believable, honestly. And I've never even offered anything like that for that kind of program. This is so much more than I've ever offered for the least amount I've ever offered, have priced it at. So we just really want to work with those that are ready to be work this challenge as far as the inner work, and stop working so hard, but tap into the work that you need to do to surrender to yourself, and not just surrender to yourself, but surrender to this idea you have to work so hard. And what that really means is that you begin to learn how to love, honor, and accept yourself for who you are, where you are, because that is what you have to do to magnify and attract your twin flame. Because they're going to be a reflection of you, and they're going to, mimic all of your thoughts, feelings, and emotions and your actions. So it's really taking a look at and getting honest with yourself. What are my thoughts, feelings, and actions? And not having to work so hard, and stop struggling for love and to work so hard for love. And so I'm really honored to be doing this with Reis, as I mentioned earlier. And Reis, why don't you share a little bit about some of the tools in that program that can help assist people? Because the goal here is that we help you not only ignite that inner flame inside yourself, but that in doing so, you can accelerate and fast track your challenges so that you can actually achieve what you want, and do it in such a way your person comes to you and you don't have to keep doing all this work.
Absolutely, Dr. Harmony. Changing your vibration and shifting you into that higher place will then manifest your twin flame and your highest match in. So I can't begin to tell you how excited I am. I'm really excited about the Ignite Your Inner Flame challenge. It is giving everybody an opportunity to grow and really fast track their growth within this whole complete package that we're offering you. I mean, the benefits are you're going to stop working so hard. It's going to take out all that work. You're going to cultivate inner harmony. You're going to learn how to communicate as well. Not only learn how to communicate to yourself, but you're going to learn how to communicate your needs to others. And I know that you all agree with me. That is huge. And really actually learning about yourself, because you're actually getting the one-to-one. So you're getting the one-to-one with myself. Then you're also getting the group aspect with Dr. Harmony, which you're going to have the opportunity to connect with like-minded souls, that we raise each other up. We build each other up. I've been in these groups. They are incredible. They help you grow and help you accelerate on such a fast-paced, level, that you are going to experience a lot of growth. You're going to really learn how to tap into your authentic power and manifest exactly what you want. And as I said before, a lot of us don't know what we want because we're always looking about what we don't want. So it's really getting clear on everything. So it's really stepping into learning acceptance, because, hey, a lot of us are trying to be perfect, and it's saying, hey, we don't have to be. It's about connecting with our authentic self, and it's really learning how to love ourselves and really step into the full force and embody the power of who you are and what you came to do and who you are to be right here and now. And I just feel, and as I say, I'm buzzing right now because, I feel the energy is so high, it's so powerful, and the healing that's going to come through is absolutely incredible. So I would really suggest get on board. As Dr. Harmony said, we've got 5 places for which you get all this extra content, which I honestly suggest you just sign up and do it. You can't miss it. It's absolutely incredible.
Yeah, and with that, if you'd like to even learn more about it, when you go to that page for the Ignite Your Inner Flame program, this is a 3-month program, there is a place that you can connect with Reis, and you can sign up for a complimentary clarity call where you can connect with her one-on-one for her to help you identify maybe what's going on, and then how she can help you through that process of working in that particular program one-on-one. So now, that being said, if you're just joining us, those links are above and below. We want to thank and welcome all of you, as we mentioned, also for the 5-day challenge, which is not too late to get plugged into if you're just joining us. There's also a link that you can catch all the replays, and they're packaged up for a 5-day series that will still be sent to you, and that is free. And let us tell you, first of all, I got to say, even my own personal journey, the whole process I went through, the journey during that time, learned so much, opened up so much, and revealed so much about my own journey that I haven't even revealed out into the public yet, because just hadn't been the right time or the right moment. But what happened in that moment it unfolded in such a way it just came out, and it was like it was supposed to come out there. And that's one of the things we talked about in that challenge was, you know, the divine timing aspect of that, being that things, trusting that process as you go through this process. And we all know that, but like really paying attention to those signs and synchronicities and let them direct you. And if you don't know your direction, then really spending some time listening to your intuition and cultivating that intuition so you can begin to listen to your soul versus looking outside of yourself and giving your power away to other people, other experiences, and people that's telling you what you should or shouldn't do on this journey. Only you know who your twin flame is. Only you know what actions you need to take or should take. And if you're not that confident within yourself, that's what these tools we're talking about can help you gain the confidence and the clarity for you to take the action you need to come into your own power, basically. So you want to talk a little bit about how they can gain some power along this journey, Reis, and how that connects to the twin flame, obviously, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. What you were just saying there about learning to listen and be guided by your intuition. A lot of us, we don't fully even step into the trust of our own personal inner power and trust at this point. And a lot of what we covered in the 5-day challenge was stepping into a place of trust, of understanding how to really learn acceptance within where you're at, who you are, but also getting out of your own way. You know, a lot of us can create blockages and they can put hurdles in place that don't actually have to be there. You know, we create these kind of illusions or these feelings that we're stuck, but we're not. When we were actually in the 5-day challenge, we uncovered shifts and changes that actually weren't about doing what we always did, you know, before. It's actually changing tactic. It's actually aligning in a different way with understanding. And that's being in total trust. Because before, you know, I could have held on to things and I could have said, no, this is how it's meant to come through or how it's meant to happen. But actually, it's about letting go of all of that. And this is what we're saying. The time is now in order to let go, trust, understand that you can trust yourself, you can trust your intuition, you can look for the synchronicities. A lot of us don't see them because we are so stuck in our own programming that we don't know how to get out of our own way. And this is what we're here to do. We're here to help you break down those boundaries. We're here to help you break down those walls. A lot of us can be in this place of isolation where we feel we can't communicate, we can't reach out. So it's about learning to sit and listen and also understand how we can communicate our needs and our love and what we truly deserve. Now, this is all key and part of how we attract our twin flame without getting clear and having pure clarity around our desires, wants, and needs. How can we fully attract our twin flame in? And this is about us getting clear right now. It's about us really understanding our true clarity about what we want. Now, if I ask that to you and said, are you really clear about what you want in your life, what you're worth in your life, and what you truly deserve? How many of you could actually answer this and tell me fully that you really know your worth and you're really clear about what your desires are, what you should be having? Now, it's a huge thing actually, because we can say this, but when we really sit with it, what comes through is absolutely powerful. Yeah, a lot of us can go into an isolation and into separation because we go into fear, and it's stepping out of that fear into freedom now, and it's really now taking ownership of our worth, of our love, and as I said, transitioning from being stuck. And that's huge because a lot of us are stuck. A lot of us, as we say, in our own way, and we can't see the way. So you know, I do feel that it's about acknowledging that, because we talk about that awareness, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
And when we start acknowledging that and we start really bringing that into awareness and start allowing ourselves to allow those emotions to come up, because a lot of us suppress, we don't express. And I've got that saying in my house: we express, we do not suppress. And we allow those feelings to come through and we sit with them. We can really get clear with ourselves, and we can let go. There's a lot of feelings that might come up with feeling like, you know, how I feel shameful or guilt that actually I should be worth having my twin flame, attracting somebody in my life. So it's really good to acknowledge those feelings, to allow them to come up so you can let them go, so you can learn to forgive yourself for being so hard on yourself. And this is where we're really going to step into our own personal power by doing all of this.
Well, and another huge thing about what you're saying is that our true power comes from our vulnerability. And stepping into that space of allowing and also accepting who we are, where we are, and all of our aspects, good and bad, and not judging ourselves. So there's a lot of things we covered in the tools that we're offering, and also the 5-day challenge, as well as the one-on-one work that we are doing, or Reis is doing with the Ignite Your Inner Flame program, is teaching you to get open, raw, and real with yourself, and to be seen, to be heard. But you got to listen to yourself on that. That's why you got to listen to your own intuition. And I like what somebody has up here. They mention here, it says, we're not trying to work at all, but to surrender to the good within. And that's like so true. So like, if there's work to do, the work is surrendering. But that's the problem that most people fail to do, because they hang on and they resist the change that it takes to go through what you need to go through to become who you need to become, to experience the connection with your twin flame at the level it's supposed to be. And so you resist the change within yourself. Now, so let's talk about that, Reis. What are some examples of some of that inner change that people need to let go of, that they're holding on to, a part of themselves, a part of the past, a story, or an experience with a twin flame that's blocking them from truly surrendering to their true self, their authentic self, which is what this journey is about before they can have the twin flame?
Oh, there's so many different stories that I could tell you about people and how they're holding on to so much, which blocks them from actually aligning to their twin flame. I think it was day 4 that you had an incredible story about one of your clients that you work with, about him not recognizing actually the shift that he needed to be aware of in order to allow twin flame. We can become stuck on what we feel is what it should be. We can hold on to one specific person what we feel could be, and we're afraid to let go because we're so fixated on what we feel should be right, that should fit, that we don't allow more to come in. We're not allowing the universe, we're micromanaging the universe, so to speak, and allowing what should come in because we're holding on to past trauma, or we're holding on to situations or past experiences that are actually stopping us from moving forward. They're tainting what could come in, what our higher vibration could come in. So it's about recognizing actually and taking a good look, because we talk about awareness being 75% of our journey, don't we? And then you've got your action and your thoughts and everything that come behind it. And actually taking that awareness of looking at your life, what is your story? Because it's time now that we start letting our story go. Now, we've all got our stories. It's what's got us to where we are. And I'm not diminishing them in any way. They are what have got us here. There are lights showing us our dark and we couldn't be ourselves without going through these situations, through the trauma, through the hurt, through the experiences that we've had. But how many of us are still stuck there? How many of us are still a victim to that? And it's really recognizing how we can step out of that. As you say, as this comment saying, yes, from fear to freedom. It's recognizing actually how to step into our own personal power and our freedom from recognizing our previous relationships and how they've got here. I couldn't have met my twin flame without actually having my previous traumatic relationships that were full of abuse, full of toxic substance abuse and anger and control issues and everything that was about taking my own personal power away. Now, in order for me to find my own personal power, I had to really be clear about what I didn't want. And that wasn't what I wanted. So I had to let that story go. I didn't want to live and be that victim from my previous relationships. I wanted to stand in my own true light and my own power. I knew my true worth, which is what I did. I got truly clear about what I wanted, but I had to get clear about what I didn't want. And that was key. So I had to let go of my stories, the stories of trauma, the stories of pain. Now, I'm not, as I said, diminishing them or poo-pooing them lightly, because They are, some of the most painful things that you'll experience in your life, but they're also the most biggest periods of growth. As Dr. Harmony said, we find our most power in our vulnerability. And this is where we've become our most vulnerable, when we've gone through situations. So it's really recognizing how we can then get our own personal power out of each individual situation and experience of what we've gone through, and how we can now use that in order to step into the newest, highest version of ourselves.
Yes, absolutely. So one of the things, as we go through that process, is about getting that transparency that we talked about in part of the authenticity of part of our real self. And to do that, it's really being able to feel those emotions that most people don't want to feel, which expands your emotional range from the pain to the pleasure. But to know pleasure, you have to have experienced some pain along the way. And the more pain you've experienced, the more pleasure you can experience, basically. And so as you begin to expand yourself in ways to embody more of your emotional range, that can feel uncomfortable because you're beginning to feel things that you're not used to, or you don't want to share with people, or you try to suppress. And that's where it's coming into a place of fully expressing who you are at your fullest ability. And until you can do that, you can't be fully seen by anyone else or heard by anyone else if you're not willing to see or feel some of those things. Now, I also want to go back and talk about the story you talked about, letting go of our stories. And that's one of the things that we did as an intro exercise for the 5-day challenge, was about writing your new love story and what that looks like in the future. And as Reis mentioned, if you have not necessarily, if you don't know what you want, you really don't get an opportunity to know what you want until you really view and look at what you don't want. But then also when you look at what you don't want, and that helps you decide more or know more about what you actually want, it's now letting go of those stories or programs or fears that's keeping you stuck in the loop with the old story then. So in that 5-day challenge, or now we're the 5-day series of the video series, you can still receive. And if you're just joining us, you can still get access to that for free. The links are in the comments above or below, or in the descriptions. And get signed up, because the first thing we have you do in that is to rewrite your love story, or to get clear on what you want. And then part of that journey, because that's what I will say, in that 5 days we spent together, it is a journey. And it's not too late for you to still get on board with the journey and take that journey with us through there. And so, yeah, I just wanted to bring that up because it's so important that you begin to feel those emotions that you've been running from, that makes you very transparent, because that's going to be a part of you that needs to connect with your twin flame, that needs to be part of the mirror that's going to mirror what you have going on with your twin flame. And if you're still stuck in the pain of it and not looking at what you want, and not becoming in your daily path and daily walk a life that represents that freedom or that love or that relationship from a very healthy, positive, and whole state, then you're going to remain stuck in the old loop. So basically, I always call that stepping out of the loop, stepping out of the maze. And that's one of the things that, with this Ignite Your Inner Flame program that we're offering, this is a 3-month program that's kicking off today. It has all the perks and bonuses and, discounts that's applied for the first 5 people through the beta group, that you are really, that's a breakthrough to trust enough to take that leap if you're truly ready. Because it's those kinds of leaps, or that's like stepping out of the loop, is what I'm kind of saying here. Like making a choice and choosing to, maybe not take on this journey by yourself, and choosing to get assistance, and also letting go of the idea. And this is so important, letting go of the idea, I've already done everything, right? I've already done all the work. I don't need to do anymore, And the thing is, underneath of that, if you don't have what you have in your life, then you're still playing some loop out. And that's the goal, is to identify the unconscious programs that are still running, that's keeping the energy patterns the same, or creating the same cycles, that you don't even realize you're keeping the old patterns alive. And so you want to comment on that and how that
Yeah,
relates to you and your twin flame?
absolutely. So, yeah, if you don't undo that conscious patterning that is creating that loop, then it affects everything around you with your social circles, your friends, everything. And it's really about getting clear. With when I met my twin flame, I had let go. And this is about let go of people that aren't serving you for your highest. It's about aligning to your true desires, getting out of that loop, stop repeating the same experiences. I'd had relationships where I was experiencing similar things that were of a toxic nature, and stepping out of that loop and breaking that was huge. It's really stepping us into that personal freedom and that power, and getting the slate clean, really, to allow your twin flame to come in. And actually, by bringing this up, doing this work, now we say let go of the work, but I'd done so much work. When I got into a place of meeting my twin flame, the work had already been done. Yeah. So I was really in alignment and ready to meet my twin flame, but I didn't know my twin flame was coming in. I just got it together. I was in my own personal place of feeling powerful, very, very empowered, knowing my worth, being very clear. And I had my list to the universe. Yeah. I had what I wanted to the universe. Now, what Dr. Harmony was saying about writing the story. So with the 5-day challenge, you get work to do around it, but getting clear about what you want. So actually going away and doing some of this is what I did. I actually got my letter to the universe together that was in clarity about my worth and what my true desires were, and how I wasn't going to accept anything less than what I knew I was worth, and I wasn't going to settle for anything less either. So, and that was the bottom line for me, and I was so solid in that belief and knowing, and it was so unwavering. This is what aligned me to my twin flame and how it came in. I'd let go of my stories, and we do recognize that actually on our twin flame journey, we have stories that come up within our relationship as well. But it's about working together and understanding how we can use those stories, as I said, for our own personal power to step into that next level of awareness. What Dr. Harmony was saying about was, we don't allow our emotions to come up. And I'm a really sensitive empath. I know a lot of you out there are, and we are really tuned into our feelings and being sensitive. So a lot of us don't want to feel hurt, but we can only grow from strength to strength. Believe you when I tell you, when I walk this path, I have grown in my emotions. I have become more heightened and attuned to my sensitivity and my empathy, which is what I call my superpower. And I actually say that to my little boy as well. It's your superpower. And actually, this is how I receive my communication from the universe. It's through my feeling. And without actually acknowledging my feelings, without bringing them up, because as I said, we can be so afraid of ourselves that we don't want to, we can suppress it. But actually, you don't really realize how many hidden gifts you've got when you acknowledge those feelings, when you bring them up. There is so much more to come, and I promise you that. I promise.
Absolutely. And I just want to say, if you'd like to get to know Reis more and her twin flame, he comes and also shares messages in our Facebook group, and you can get plugged into the Facebook group in the links in the description above or below as well, because he also has some videos. Some people had requested messages from the divine masculine, because as we know, the divine feminine always want to hear what the divine masculine has to say. So he's been coming in there and answering questions and sharing some of his wisdom. So make sure to get plugged into the Facebook group if you're have not already done so. So let's see if we have any specific questions. I know we've got some people. We got somebody here from, let's see, Kylie from Australia. We got Olive from South Port, England. Welcome. We got some early day and late night. So you're up very late, Olive. Thank you for joining us this late for sure. And hello, Heidi. Good to see you here. I know you joined our 5-day challenge, and I know you were on at least one of the lives, maybe a couple of the lives. So that was very awesome to see you there. And anybody just joining us, know that you can get plugged into the 5-day challenge still. It is packaged up, so you can get it for free, and you will receive the replays for the consecutive 5 days, just as if you were there. And it will be well worth your time. And also, we had mentioned that we kicked off as of today our Ignite Your Inner Flame 3-month program in order to help you begin to kind of unlock that potential in yourself so that now you can stop searching for love and that you are in a place of power and magnetic power that draws your twin flame to you. And Reis and I are presenting in all of that content the tools, tips, and insider resources that we have used to complete those things and to share those things with you in such a way that our goal is to help you navigate that path without having to do it alone or without having to take so long to do it and without having to continue to struggle. And most importantly, like we said a while ago, to find the surrender and stop resisting what it is you need to get in alignment with your true self, which is what this goal is about. And when you know who you are, you're going to be able to know who your twin flame is as well. So do we have any questions specifically here, Reis?
I don't think there's any questions, but I just want to say hello to everybody. Oh, it's great seeing so many people pop up. I'm actually in Sydney, Australia, Kylie. So I'll be keen to know where you are. And obviously I've got Holes up there. I know she's
and if anybody has any questions, feel free to drop them here in the comments because, and even also in the future, if you're watching this in the replay in the future, a couple things, let us know where you're tuning in from. And if you have questions, we'll be happy to be able to, answer any questions for you.
Yeah. So you actually enjoy the shadow work, Clive. So that's good. Embracing it.
And that's not a bad thing to enjoy it. Because that says that you're not resisting it, and when you don't resist it, you go through it much faster than whenever you hang on to the. And I want to put this comment up here because this is really good. So and I've heard this before. So when you can't see the picture when you're stuck in a frame. And that's what happens. And that's one of the things with our perspective of all of this. And that's what we talk about in the challenge a lot, that what is your perspective of this journey? Because whatever you see is what you're going to create. And if you're stuck in all these things and you don't step out of the loop, like we were talking about, and get out of it, then you'll see things differently when you step out of this cycle or the circle. And that's what's also, by not stepping out, is a part of what keeps you in the loop of repeating karmic patterns, that keeps you going through layers of clearing. That the goal in that is you can stop having to do so much clearing and move forward and out of the endless loop that everybody keeps, complaining about. And I don't blame them because I've done the same thing. And now I've learned how to get out of the loop and teaching other people how. Do we have any final questions here at all?
Nope. No questions.
Okay, we got a lot of comments. Thank you for all the comments.
Yeah.
Third eye is fully open. Oh, that's awesome. Let's see, what do we got here? Heidi. If we have evolved a balance of the feminine and the masculine in ourselves, is it harder to find someone who also is in balance? No. No, it's so much easier. And what happens is they come in and meet you exactly where you are, exactly, be able to dance the dance with you, because that's the key about the twin flame journey. It's an inner dance. And so when you have the polarity of the runner chaser, it's inside of you. And so when you end the runner chaser that's happening from the triggers and the wounds inside of yourself, those buttons can't be pushed. And then you won't attract people or partners or experiences that keep pushing your buttons, that cause you to, the balance we're talking about here is staying in alignment with your true self, staying in alignment with your authentic self. Staying in alignment with that authentic self is saying you can show up being open, raw, real, vulnerable, and express who you are at the core of your being without fear of being heard or seen. Which is technically what you're asking for, but you can't let somebody see you in that vulnerable state because it's too uncomfortable usually for most people. And I know I've went through that, so I know it was very uncomfortable for me. But finding the inner balance in yourself is how you can then, and only then, navigate the dance with your twin flame, especially in harmony, without having to experience all the push-pull and without having to go through, like Reis said, the more you're in alignment with yourself, when you attract them, the less work you have to do together.
Yeah, I totally agree with myself and Jonathan, my twin flame. When we met, we were so balanced with our masculine and feminine. We just fit. We perfectly fit, and we balanced each other out. And now being in a twin flame relationship, we recognize how we each can flow. If Jonathan is being over masculine, then I can be over feminine, and we balance each other. And actually, if you're in full awareness of it, you recognize it, you know yourself, you know how you are, you know your twin flame, and you can see the signs, you can see how it is, you feel it, when actually you're out of shift, and where you can work on it, and how you can bring yourself back into alignment. So actually being totally balanced within your masculine and feminine is such a good thing, because you're only going to align to a balanced masculine, a twin flame with a masculine and feminine balanced also. And as I said, mine and Jonathan's, when we came together, it was incredible actually, because I've had previous teachers say to me, gosh, you are very balanced within yourself. And Jonathan, he was so balanced within his masculine and feminine. When I met him, I couldn't get my head around it. It was yeah, he had the right balance of everything, but it was a reflection of me. What I was seeing was a reflection of myself within him. And actually the qualities that I recognize within my masculine and feminine side, he mirrored exactly the same qualities within him. And it fit, and it was so incredible. So when you're in that awareness, when you're really working with yourself, when you're really working into balance, you can't, as Dr. Harmony said, have those triggers, have that push me, pull me effect. Yeah, and that's not to say that doesn't happen within your relationship and how you move forward. You do have a slight push, but it's recognizing when you're in that full awareness, it's so powerful with how you can actually harness it and get the growth out of it, and actually then grow and become a stronger, more connected couple through that process of understanding it. So powerful.
Yeah, and something to add to that real quick before we close out is that dance also plays a role in a couple things. So number one, like I'm just gonna use this example. So like when I was hyper masculine or more masculine, and so the whole journey for me is about coming into more my femininity. My masculine side has had, was already strong. So it's been coming into the vulnerability, coming in and finding the power, as I said, from my more feminine state that gives me more power to be in that vulnerability and vulnerable state. And so, obviously I always say, and if you follow me very long, I know, Heidi, you have a long time, and you've watched me, I'm sure, come through this process of my masculine to feminine energy. But the key in it is when you come together with your divine masculine, you have to be in the respective role with them to dance with them. Otherwise, you're fighting and competing for roles without even knowing what you're doing. So if you have, like I had, being in my hyper masculine, always attracted more hyper feminine type, men, because of the fact that's the only way the dynamic would go together. Right. And that meant a lot of them that were suppressed and couldn't express. But I also was suppressed and couldn't express because my feminine side was shut down. And so you got to recognize your role that is sort of like the role you play in the dynamic. And at the same token, you're finding the balance to navigate your own inner masculine, your own inner feminine energies. But then to dance with them, you got to be in your respective role with them. You want to elaborate on that, since you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, because you can go into that complete power struggle, and if you're not in that awareness, then that just creates a toxic environment and a toxic relationship. So when you aren't actually fully stepping into your power of recognizing your vulnerability and actually your divine feminine within you, your sensitivity, what I talked about was developing your emotions, your empathy. This is bringing forth your divine feminine and actually saying this is powerful. I know a lot of us, we're in this survival mode where we've got our shields up. We are like, full force. We're out and we're in this protection, which we've got so much of our divine masculine working overtime. We don't actually allow our divine feminine because we see our feelings as a weakness. We see our vulnerability as a weakness, but it's so not. It's so your superpower, as I talked about earlier, recognizing that you can have both within complete balance. You can have your divine masculine, your divine feminine show up for each other and create that beautiful harmony. As Dr. Harmony was saying about the relationships, you don't want to go into a relationship. Nobody wants to go into a relationship full of toxic power struggles, push me, pull me, energy all the time. Well, we're not recognizing actually what we're doing, because we're so fueled by either our hyper emotional state or our masculine defense or protective state, that we're not recognizing how then that is counteracting the person. If you are over masculine, which part of me back how I was before, I was very over masculine. I was in survival. I was in a victim state where I was in this total, I've got to keep it together, I've got to be in survival. So I suppressed my emotions. I know a lot of us have come from generations where we weren't allowed to express our feelings and our emotions. So we've been taught to push it right down. So this is about recognizing these feelings are good. Now, recognizing we can have feelings of shame or guilt, or all these feelings, it's good to feel. Allow those feelings to come up. Allow yourself to be kind to yourself and feel those feelings, because taking hold of that divine feminine side of you is such a beautiful thing to do. And as I said, with myself and my twin flame in my relationship, we are so aware of our divine masculine and our feminine that actually when I am being over masculine, Jonathan will shift into becoming over feminine. And by seeing that in him, I recognize it within me. It shows the mirror within me. So actually being really super on it with understanding yourself and recognizing that your emotions aren't a vulnerability, that they can make you feel vulnerable, but they're not your vulnerability. They are so incredibly powerful, and they're about how you can get aligned and and attract your twin flame in. So I hope that's added a little bit more.
No, absolutely. And I just wanted to bring that back up, because one of the things I wanted to say is the program of Ignite Your Inner Flame is all about the whole program. The premises is about you finding this inner balance and harmony within yourself so you can dance that dance with your beloved and attract them. Because technically, until you have that imbalance and within yourself, you're not going to attract the person that's your highest match. It's going to match that vibration and frequency of you in that state and place. And so that if you're just joining us, or you're catching the replay in this place at all, know that, there's a link above and below that you can get plugged into our Ignite Your Inner Flame program that just launched today. We have some super good, amazing bonuses and perks and pricing right now for the first 5 people. And Reis is offering a complimentary clarity call to go over and review and see if it's a fit for you. Because obviously we also want to make sure that we're working with people that are ready to step out of that loop and ready to step forward in their sovereignty, but also in their own power, so that they can magnetize what is meant for them and move forward and be in a state of harmonic balance inside out, right? And that's how we get our twin flame. So, all right. Well, thank you guys so much. Again, make sure to leave comments and let us know if you have any questions. And we look forward to seeing you in the next episode of Rise with Reis, which is every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And sending everyone so much love, light, and liberation. See you next week.